Maybe some fresh city air will help me think. Whosoever can complete every Final Fantasy game in order will be given a wish.
I, Harley, will final every fantasy. Ah, frick! Ah, that burn.
Well, I'm starting to have second doubts about that scroll now. Final Fantasy, game number 1. Showtime.
Well, that took longer than expected, but a pleasant adventure nonetheless. Whew. Well, now that I've beaten the first Final Fantasy, I guess the magical contract will provide the next one. Final Fantasy II for the Super NES, I believe it is. Cheesy, but I guess it works. Hold on. This isn't a Super NES game. Hold on. This isn't in English. What is this? No, there was only one Final Fantasy game for the NES. So what would this be? I need to do some research. I did it. I got it. It all makes sense now. Hey Harley, you here? I wanted to let you know. Whoa, okay. I got it. I got it. I learned it. I got the truth. The game. It's all in the game. I figured out the truth. It's about the game. I just wanted to let you know that there were cereals stuck in the truth. They tried to hide it from me, but I figured it out. They never wanted anyone to learn, but I learned the truth. This is the biggest secret in all of gaming. Okay, so
1987, Final Fantasy I is released in Japan. 1988, Final Fantasy II is released in Japan. 1990, Final Fantasy III is released in Japan, and Final Fantasy I is released in America. 1991, Final Fantasy IV is released in Japan, and Final Fantasy IV is released in America as Final Fantasy II. 1992, Final Fantasy V is released in Japan. 1994, Final Fantasy VI is released in Japan and released in America as Final Fantasy III. Then in 1997, everything was finally fixed as Final Fantasy VII was released as Final Fantasy VII in both Japan and America. Final Fantasy II, III, and V would eventually see US releases in 2003, 2006, and 1999.
it's that simple. You did leave out one important thing though. No, I didn't. You left out the fact that I'm not human. In fact, I'm an alien. Really? No, I'm actually just a hallucination due to stress, lack of sleep, and paint fumes. Whoop, 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 whoop. Huh. I think I should take a nap in a hospital. But first, I do face one major problem though. I don't know how to read Japanese. If I can't read Japanese, how am I supposed to play this game? Did that magic contract just patch this game? Hold on, is this actually going to work? I swear to God, if this actually works, okay, well, Final Fantasy II for the NES, Showtime.